When I was a dumbass kid sitting Indian style on brown and gold shag carpet, lights off, television humming like it was about to confess something sacred, that lonely piano from the Incredible Hulk started playing and it felt like the end of the world. Bill Bixby wasn't a superhero. Shit, he wasn't even Bruce Banner. They called him David because some CBS executive decided Bruce didn't sound masculine enough. So David Banner walked, highway to highway, town to town, a drifter with a duffel bag and a curse in his bloodstream. Try not to hurt anyone ever again. And when those eyes went white, when Lou Ferrigno stepped in the frame, you didn't clap, you didn't cheer, you held your breath. You prayed he didn't see you. You prayed he didn't lose control. That was the Hulk. Not a brand, not a punchline, a curse walking under flickering streetlights. And now he's taking selfies in the MCU, the most terrifying force in comics reduced to comic relief in his own mythology. And Disney Marvel expected yo dumbass not to notice. Welcome to No Respect, the show where legacy characters come to die slow, dignity-stripped deaths so modern Hollywood can feel morally superior. And today's corpse? The Hulk. Born Bruce Banner. Once the loneliest man on television, now the safest monster in the multiplex. In 2003, the Hulk didn't politely make the leap to cinema. He tore himself out of the TV set and blocked the projectors with his shadow on the big screen. This was before cinematic universes, before punchlines were installed like emotional airbags, before a movie wasn't choked out by its own need to be likable. Back when the monster was allowed to be a monster, he was a condition. He was contamination. This wasn't a Green Avenger posing for a lunchbox. He was a man checking his pulse like it was a detonator. The Hulk was escalation, a growth that swelled with anger, a mutation that didn't negotiate, a force that didn't care about tone. Banner didn't command it, he endured it, and that made it terrifying. Then the Incredible Hulk dropped in 2008, and I'll say it, Edward Norton was the closest this franchise ever came to understanding the character. The film had grime, it had tension, it had consequences. It treated the Hulk like a liability, not an asset. Norton played Bruce Banner like a man with a live grenade under his ribs. Gaunt, sleep-deprived, counting heartbeats like they were death sentences. Every time he transformed, you felt the exhaustion afterwards, the horror, the shame, the trembling aftermath of becoming something inhuman. This wasn't a man cracking jokes. This was a man trying not to breathe too hard. He felt comic accurate because he understood that Banner isn't confident. He's fractured. And that Hulk wasn't your friend. He grew larger as he grew angrier. Veins like cables, eyes feral, teeth bared like trapped animal. When he fought Abomination in Harlem, it wasn't spectacle, it was demolition. He wasn't posing, he was ending things. That Hulk felt like a force of nature you deploy when you've already accepted the damage. The film understood something modern Marvel forgot. Banner wasn't trying to integrate, he wanted a cure. That's the point. The Hulk is not meant to be solved, he's meant to be survived. Norton leaned into the horror of losing control. Every elevated heartbeat was a death sentence. Every emotional spike was a loaded gun. This is the Hulk mythology, the curse of strength without consent. Then came the pivot point, the neon funeral, Thor Ragnarok. A movie that many love, a movie that's funny, colorful, and wildly entertaining. But beneath that humor, the quiet shrinking of a titan. Yeah, it's entertaining, but watch what it does to the monster. On Sakaar, Hulk isn't hunted, he's celebrated, a champion gladiator, a spectacle. And in the arena against Thor, something cracks. Thor unleashes lightning, Hulk gets launched into a stadium wall. For the first time in the MCU, the unstoppable force looks stoppable. The myth fractures, and then we see him beg Thor not to leave. Beg. The creature once defined by uncontrollable escalation is now defined by emotional dependency. Humanizing? Maybe. Diminishing? Absolutely. Ragnarok becomes the transition point. Hulk talks more, reasons more, sulks, negotiates. This is the stepping stone to what arrives fully formed in Avengers Endgame. Professor Hulk.
For comedy, absolutely.
Comedy shifts gravity. When the monster becomes the punchline, the stakes evaporate. 2 years as a gladiator champion on Sakaar would have left scars. Instead, it becomes colorful backstory. The apex predator becomes part of the bit. And once the audience laughs at the monster, the fear is gone. By the time we hit Avengers Endgame, we got Smart Hulk, Brunch Hulk, Celebrity Hulk, Professor Selfie. He didn't conquer the monster through anguish. It happened off screen. We were told he merged, told he figured it out. No arc, no struggle, no tragedy. only a time jump and a convenience. The most volatile character in Marvel history resolved in a lab between movies.
See, now that's some bullshit.
He doesn't mean that.
Then came the Deep Blue series She-Hulk Attorney at Law, where Bruce Banner, the man who tried to kill himself because he couldn't live with the monster, is lectured about anger management. Lectured by someone who mastered it in an afternoon. Decades of psychological torment reduced to a joke about catcalling. Bruce Banner, once the embodiment of rage and shame, now comic support in his own mythology. You can call it evolution, I call it neutering. The Hulk used to represent the terror of losing control. Now he's explaining gamma etiquette to an insufferable fool. The monster turned mentor. The edge filed down to fit the tone. He's rumored to appear in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and the reaction isn't excitement, it's apathy. Because when the strongest Avenger becomes a cameo accessory, the myth is already gone. Let's be honest. When Mark Ruffalo stepped in, the tone shifted. Ruffalo's Banner is charming, warm, approachable. But the character stopped being dangerous. Norton brought severity, commitment. A sense that Banner might snap at any second. He played Bruce like a man constantly holding a loaded weapon to his own skull. That seriousness grounded the Hulk in danger. Maybe danger was inconvenient. Maybe discomfort doesn't test well. Maybe Marvel didn't want that. But letting Norton go may have been the moment the Hulk stopped being feared and started being formatted. The Hulk is not meant to be tidy. He's not meant to be resolved. He is the embodiment of repressed fury and power without peace. When you sand down the rage, when you smooth out the instability, and when you turn the monster into a mascot, you don't involve him, you erase him. The 2008 film remains the most comic-accurate portrayal because it understood the core truth. The Hulk is not a hero you aspire to be, he is a curse you fear becoming. And until Marvel remembers that, there will be no respect, only the echo of a roar that used to matter.
Hey man, if you down, like and subscribe. Catch you on the flip side, flapjacks.